Hello and welcome. My name is Mapleless, she, they, and this is Literally Graphic. And today we are doing another reread and re-review. This time we are looking at Sunny, volumes 1 to 6 by Taiyo Matsumoto. Content notes for foster care and acting out, and parents are largely absent for many different reasons. Obviously, one of my favorite mangaka. Rereading this series remind me once again how every time I read a Matsumoto title, they only get better. So I really do need to revisit Ping Pong in the future. Otherwise, having reviews of Cats of the Louvre, Go-Go Monster, and Tekken Concrete, anime versus manga, I've talked about Matsumoto a couple of times already. Reading around about Sunny, it does apparently draw quite a bit on Matsumoto's personal experience in an orphanage growing up. Apparently, he thought about doing something more autobiographical, but ultimately decided against it. I would recommend checking out an article over on Guernica, published back in 2013, bringing up Sunny by Anne Ishii. Sunny was originally serialized from 2010 to 2014 in Shogaku's Monthly Ikki until they suspended publication. The series was finished in Monthly Big Comic Spirits in 2015. The 6-volume series was also published by Shogakukan in 2015 and by Viz Media from 2013 to 2016 in very beautiful hardcover editions. It was one of the jury-recommended works of 2011 and 12 at Japan Media Arts Festival. Volume 1 was one of the Great Graphic Novels 2014 by the Young Adult Library Services Association. It was nominated for a 2014 Harvey Award and won a 61st Shogakukan Manga Award. What kind of keywords come to mind flipping through this series? Imagination, loneliness, family, and snot. Because it's a Matsumoto title about kids, there's lots of snot. And to try and test my hand at writing a series synopsis, Sunny is a short slice of life manga series that focuses on a group home named Star Kids Home. Time passes as each chapter moves from character to character in a way that meanders while still remaining fairly easy to follow. Each child is facing their own unique challenges in the home and at school, but the stories show a lot of people trying their best and being full people. A lot of people admit to crying at least once while reading this series, but it's not a wholly depressing series. There's funny moments, imagination, tenderness, and hope too. A very hard series to directly pin down and describe. The combination of subject and art style really sets it apart from any other manga I have ever read. Themes explored in the book mostly seem to revolve around growing up. The child who pops up the most throughout the series, Haruo, is obviously torn between being stuck as an unwanted child and wanting to basically cut that weakness out of his life. Death is a strong theme in a few of the stories. As always, Matsumoto's art style really stands out against most popular manga. As far as gender goes, most of the focus does tilt towards the characters I read as male, although Matsumoto does spend time focusing on the girls and women at Star Kids Home. This does make sense considering that the series was inspired by the creator's own life experience as a guy. The presence of gender was rather binary, with the girls being into girly things and the boys being into more boy things for the most part. But it felt like everyone got the same level of respect and care in their stories. The main caretakers at the home, Mr. Adachi and Miss Mitsuko, both come across as very compassionate and patient people who work very hard to keep everything running at Star Kids Home. Alongside Makio and the elderly housemaster, we get many examples of very compassionate masculinity throughout the story. Unsurprisingly, diverse sexuality didn't really seem to come up at all in Sunny. That said, since everyone is living in a group home, there wasn't really even that much heteronormativity going on either, which was kind of refreshing to think about. Class continues to be an intersection that Matsumoto does very well, in my opinion. While not always the focus of his work, Matsumoto consistently comes across with a lot of respect for people of the working class and below. This series, alongside Tekken Concrete, really do hone in on the life of poorer characters that stand out as fairly unique, in my experience. Not a focus of the series, disability versus ability comes up in a number of ways throughout Sunny, largely represented off-page, brothers Jansuke and Shosuke are at Star Kid's home because their mother is hospitalized and very sick. We also have the housemaster who has been running Star Kid's home for a very long time, and while he is getting along in years, still has an immense amount of purpose and dedication to his work. The most obvious representation is certainly Taro, a man whose role at the home is a bit mysterious, but who reads to my mind as having an unnamed developmental disability. While visually, at least, it felt like a bit of a stereotype, Toro's wholly positive, yet not inspirationally so, presence in the lives of everyone at Star Kid's homes seemed like a generally positive thing, at least compared to a similar character in Dave Lapp's Drop-In, although this might be a wholly inaccurate judgment on my part and should be taken with a giant grain of salt. Race was not something that came up in Sunny as far as I could tell. As far as rating, I gave volumes 1 to 5 4 out of 5 stars when I originally read them back in 2017, and finished off by rating volume 6 5 out of 5 stars for landing such a good ending. While I could possibly give the entire series 5 out of 5 stars, I decided to stick to my original ratings for now because I'm still a bit self-conscious about rating too many things 5 out of 5 stars. What too many is, I don't know, but apparently it is a thing. Bye y'all, keep reading and resist white supremacy. And Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders, which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, an Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.